Hello, this is Stabadan, and Samadan, and Shadowdan, and they are on a journey to make gold. Now it's been a little while since we visited all three of them, so let's go in and check on where they are at with their gold making progress, and what's been happening on their journeys. So we have Stabadan here. He is our materials flipper, who's been going through and buying materials cheaply and relisting them on for a higher price. Now we've been doing this on and off for the past few weeks, so let's go have a look and check on the mailbox and see how we're getting on. We currently have 20,000 gold on us. We have a few materials stockpiled at the moment, which we haven't sold yet. Let's go have a look at the mailbox and see what we've got waiting for us there. Always the favourite part. Now we have a few things on this side, most definitely. We've recently sold some corium ore and some copper ore. You also got a Staff of the Fly Flash. That's a green item that's sold for 142. A load of expires. We also have, these are the sales that have been ticking through over the past few days. Riverbug, wool cloth, ore, some seed there. Lacestrite ore doing well. Then we've got a decent amount of sorrow moss there. We have some bruiseweed, some pyrite ore, 1,500 for that. Eternium ore. And lots of small bits and pieces that have sold throughout, which really help to add up with the bulk of everything, and 40,000 gold in sales here. So let's pick up all of this and the expires and see what we're left with. So there we go, that's everything collected. Let's have a look at our TSM graph. We should get a rather noticeable spike in the gold collected just here. If we look at this more recently, we went down to 25,000 and now we're up here to 66,000 total. Now we don't have the token price on the top here. Let's add this in. There we go. We can see the token price now is 132,000. That would be what we would be aiming for from a monthly point of view. Obviously we're not at that stage yet with all our characters. We're still just having fun getting ourselves set up. But this is the start of our journey and we are in a good position already. Just building up some capital. We'll expand on this throughout the series. So one of the things I'd like to think about is other materials and markets we can look into with Stabadan. So I'm going to first and foremost post on everything we've got at the moment, because the thing we're doing at the moment, relisting materials on, is working out really well. So we'll carry on with posting that. Now I have an invalid group here. This is from the Black Trillium ore, most likely because we don't have a smart average buy price for the minimum there. So we'll have a look at that in some more detail later. Everything else we can post on based on our average buy price, so that should work quite well. So there's a few there below minimum price. Probably look at those and see what we could do to flip those. Let's look at this Black Trillium ore. So this is in Flipping Ore Pandaria, and it's saying currently invalid. We currently have one on us, so the current price is 99 gold on that. Let's have a look from the browse point of view. Let's have a look here at the Black Trillium ore. So it's currently at 99 gold. If we look at the operation for this, we'll probably be able to debug exactly why that's not working. My suspicion is because of the lack of average buy. Let's have a look under the groups. Commodities flipping, under ore, under this one, under Pandaria. You can see here the Black Trillium ore is there. The operation is the same one that's applied to all of these. Flipping average buy. And then if we go down here, so the difference you've got here is 115% smart average buy is our minimum price. There is no reference to anything else, so there's nothing for it to fall back on if we don't have a smart average buy price. Looking at the tooltip here, we don't even have a average buy price, so we got this from a different means, and therefore TSM doesn't know what to post this on for. So in this case, what we could do is we could adapt this slightly and use the first operation. So if this turns out to be invalid and we don't have a smart average buy price, we could then use average buy instead. If that turns out to be invalid, let's try a percentage of DB market. Our normal price is actual DB market itself, so if we try something like 80% of DB market, that way when TSM is going through this, we'll look at, okay, first we'll look at 115% smart average buy. If that doesn't work, put it on for the average buy price, and if that doesn't work, then try 80% of DB market. Let's try that and see if that works. It's not necessarily a catch-all thing that's going to work for everything, but it might just help us in this situation. So now we're going on for undercutting our competition at 99 gold. As we don't have a price for that, 99 gold is very, very interesting. It's quite high, that. But this is one of the things we're going to look into in a bit more detail anyway, so let's post that on at that price. That's a good start. Then I'll go through and see if there's any else that I can just flip whilst we're here. Now with this lightless silk one, I could just be putting this back on for 14.50. I just literally bought it for 12.33. But I think this one is worth a little bit of investigation. I did actually want to buy out all of these at 14.50 because the market average is more like 18 gold, which is way up here, 17 and 20. Even though this is a wall here, I'm thinking we could possibly come in here at 20 gold or 17 gold. So I'm going to try putting it on for a higher price first. I'm going to actually put 1,000 on at the higher price here. So whilst I've got 1,000 here at my ideal price, I'm still going to sell some here at the 14.50, which is my less than ideal price, but still a profit. So I'm going to put those on for 14.50, which is a couple of gold extra on top of what I bought them for. But the main bulk of my sales, I'd like to have them, is down here instead. So I'm kind of splitting my auctions across different price points there. This is the ideal price, this is what's still a profit, and if this doesn't work then I'll come back and do that again. But now that we have a bit more gold, we can start to make these kind of investments. Ideally I would have bought all of this up at 14.50, including this 15 and the 17, and reset everything up at 20 gold. But I didn't quite have enough gold for that. Okay, so that's those auctions on. Now one of the things I would like to look at is something that hasn't been talked about yet, and that's the relationship between different materials. So I'm going to take as an example Spirit of Harmony and the Pandaria materials and everything that leads into that. So this is part of my Maro board which I have over for Patrons, and it gives me a thought process as to, and this in particular is looking at Alchemy Transmute Mastery, which we don't have at the moment, but it's talking about living steel. And what you have here is the relationship between living steel, trillium bars, black and white trillium ore, and Spirit of Harmony. Spirit of Harmony is the kind of core driver for the price of a lot of these materials, because with Spirit of Harmony you can go to this vendor, the crystal in the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, and you can buy all these items for one Spirit of Harmony. And this gives us a price for all of our other materials that we can compare against and have a look at. So say for example, let's look at Spirit of Harmony. If we look at that, and then we also would want to have a look at Motes of Harmony, because 10 of those will come into one Spirit of Harmony. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to make up a new group which is going to be something to do with Pandaria materials flipping. And we already have some of these in. We have some herbs and we have Pandaria ore in here already. You've got the black trillium ore, the white trillium ore, and the ghost iron ore are already here. So we might have to take them out of here and put them into another group, just so that we can have a look at them in a different way, because they can't be in the same group. We could use a separate profile for this, but I'm just going to keep this as a separate group for the moment. So we're going to call this group Pandaria Materials. So the first thing we want to add into this is the Spirit of Harmony and the Motes of Harmony. So I'm going to make another group here. And then we're going to add those in here. So we'll look at the base group and we'll search for these. Search in for Harmony, and we've got Mote and Spirit are both there. So then we can select this group and we'll go into Spirit of Harmony and we'll add them in there with those two items. So we can have it, and we'll have a look at this, and we'll put an operation on here for shopping operation just on the Pandaria materials, and we'll add this one as DP market. This is the same as default, so it just looks at the DP market for these. So we'll add this operation in for now. So we can start by looking at those first, just to get an idea for what they're like on this particular server. So we can turn off commodities flipping, look at just Pandaria materials. And so there we can see, so Motes of Harmony should be about 1/10 of the price of a Spirit of Harmony, currently at 269 gold. So this is the core thing we want to look at here. So already I could see a potential flipping opportunity here. I can take, well, the motes of harmony at 23, so the base price I'm looking at here is actually 230 gold for one spirit of harmony. So we could go up here and we could buy potentially all of these and still turn these motes of harmony into spirits of harmony and still get a price that's less than this one. We could also buy all of these ones out here at 269, and then we can reset those quite easily up to 395. That would be an easy start of a flip, but you're looking at the relationship between these materials. We might be able to have enough money to do this. Let's have a look. So if we were to buy all of those, it's slightly too much at the moment, 44,000, and we've only got 40,000 on us. So we're not quite capable of doing that. We could try just the basic flip here. How much would this cost us? See, that would cost us 125,000 to buy all of those. So we don't have the capital here to actually reset these markets, but we could maybe start having a look at some of this. So say we look at everything up to 24. What can we afford at this point? So we take everything to 24. That's 8,800. It will cost us, that's not too much of a percentage of this. Then we can go and put those back on for 269. Let's start with that. Okay, so with those motes in our bags now, we just have to right click on them and that will combine the 10 motes of harmony into spirits of harmony. Can we move this over here? Yes, we can. So we could actually just drag this over to our action bar here and spam the button number 8 in order to get all this converted. There we go. So we've got 36 spirits of harmony now. So we could potentially sell them for, the min buyout is telling me 165 since our last auction house scan, but they have been reset already to 269. So let's go have a look and see if we can post those on. So they're still here at 269. So we bought them for, on average, 23.98, so that's about 24 gold. So that's 240 gold. So we're not making a huge amount if we sell them for this price, but if we happen to have more gold, then we could have made more impact on this market and reset them higher. Let's try it for this first, because this will at least give us a little bit more gold per item, and that will start our journey on here. But there's also more things we can look at here. If we look at the price of ghost iron ore, that will be quite interesting to see what ghost iron ore compares to ghost iron bars, and then what that compares to the trillium bars, and then compare what that goes into the riddle of steel or the transmute living steel and the prices of those materials. And so eventually we'll have a base price for all of these items that we can look into and compare them all off against each other and see if there are opportunities to add value by converting these up in different methods. Obviously we'll need an alchemy with transmute mastery. We probably need also a miner who can smelt the trillium, which we do have, but we haven't leveled up our Pandaria mining yet. So that's something to have a look at on Samadan. I'm sure he'll be very interested in that. We can also look at things like golden lotus, this herb here, which is currently, should be the price of half of a spirit of harmony, because you can use one spirit of harmony to turn into 2 golden lotus. So with this price now in our heads of say 269, if we go back and we look at Pandaria herbs here, we'll have golden lotus is currently priced at 269 itself. So we can see here that this is probably quite high. You can see there it's been reset. The market value is 112, which should be about half the price. That's why we wouldn't be looking to reset this one, because we can see that we can get that more easily. And knowing that we can get that easily through Spirits of Harmony, you can then start to make more educated decisions as to what you would really want to buy for certain materials. So this is the next phase in material flipping, is understanding the relationship between different materials and how you can convert one material into another material through the various professions. So we've only just scratched the surface of this, there'll be more to come later, but we've just started with at least the spirits of harmony and the motes of harmony, see if we can make a little bit of gold that way, and then we'll go on further. So we'll leave you there for the moment, Stabadan. We'll come back to you soon, I'm sure. Goodbye for now. Hello, Samadan. How are you? I hope you've enjoyed your rest here in Stormwind City. It makes a change from all the other places you've been resting in, that's for sure. But now we have your flying upgraded, so we can fly at maximum speed now, which is really fantastic. We're going through and doing the quests in Legion. But now that we have this flying, we can look at some other things we can do as a miner and a herbalist. So one of the add-ons we're going to have a look at here is the Worth It add-on. The Worth It add-on by DallarGG. So what this does is it taps into the TSM auction house price data and uses Gathermate and Roots, the other two add-ons, and it will suggest different farms that you can go through and do and see if you can get some gold that way. Now a new addition to this is under the farms there's one called multi-farms. Now what this does is it takes into account both the ore and the herb prices of certain areas, and it will combine the two of them. Say, like for example here we've got Saronite ore, the Gold Clover, Icethorn, Lich Bloom, and it will combine all of those together and give you an average sale rate, tells you where it is and what kind of gold per hour you can have, and then you import the root here. So if you've got the Roots add-on and Gathermate 2 add-on, those will be added in for you there. So looking at these, that's quite an interesting one, Wintergrasp. Looking at the sale rate of some of these, it's quite interesting. If we were to order this by sale rate, the Fellblight one in Tannan Jungle apparently has the highest one. We've got Gorgon Flytrap, Nagranda Arrowbloom. Now a lot of these are Walls of Drain or things, so I might not necessarily want to go there. And then we've got, obviously, this is Shadowlands. This is also Shadowlands. Then we've got a Legion 1 here, which is where we're at the moment. So that's 11,000 on there if we look at that. In terms of gold per hour, just under 12,000. If we look at this in terms of the potential we have, it comes right down here onto this section here. Aetheral's slightly higher. Starlight Rose goes up a little bit more on that one. So we're trying to pick one that's going to potentially be profitable for us. I mean, it would make sense to go for the highest one here in Wintergrasp and see whether we actually get some things that would sell for quite well here. It all depends on the price here. We've got Saronite ore, seems to be the good one at the moment. Titanium ore, Gold Clover, Icethorn, Frost Lotus, a load of different herbs there. And depends how easily we can get some of these ones. There's the Eternals here as well, which might be a decent price. One of those I saw was particularly high here. The Eternal Fire is coming here at 3,000 gold, so that could be skewing the numbers looking at that one. If we get 3 Eternal Fires, that's 3,000 gold, so it's not necessarily going to sell for that much. It is using the DB market as a price source, so that DB min buyout may not actually be used there. So it will actually look at the market value of 65 gold, not the 3,000 gold, so that's probably okay. Just look, see if there's anything else that's skewed slightly. This all seems fairly reasonable. There's interesting numbers on each of these, certainly. So what I would do is I'd say, okay, let's try this route out. What is the route in Wintergrasp and what can we do here? So we're going to click import the route, and then this will add this in. Worth It, Saronite ore in Wintergrasp. So let's just click import for that. Then it will do an automatic reload of our interface, and it will have imported the route into Wintergrasp. Okay, so now when we go over to the Kalimdor, I believe, that's Winter Spring. Where's Wintergrasp? Is it a... yes, there it is. Over in Northrend here, we can see the route going on through here, picking up the Saronite ore, working our way through here. We could do this route, and we can see what kind of potential gold we can get here. Now, as we're currently working our way through the Legion storyline, I'm not sure if we can actually go to Wrath of the Lich King as easily, so let's go have a look and see if that's actually feasible in our current situation. As a druid we could probably port somewhere close by, I would imagine. Now from looking things up we could possibly get a port over to Grizzly Hills, but I wonder if we can just get what? We might as well see if we can get the boat over there and go that way. I think it has just left. I see it disappearing over there. Nope, here it is. It's coming in now. This is the Northrend boat. We'll do this the old-fashioned way rather than using the port. There we go. And whilst we're here we have a unopened collection. This is the Wandering Ancient that we haven't picked up yet, and it's now got its spring colours, which looks fantastic. I look forward to maybe using that one as a druid. That could be very nice. And then whilst we're here we could probably do with some fishing on our action bar. I don't seem to have it on the side here. Let me just turn that on. There we go. So whilst we're here we can use our fishing, do a little bit of casual fishing whilst we wait for our boat to depart. There we go, the boat's leaving now, so that was a good use of our time. Off we go for a journey anew, onto new lands for Samadan. Here we are in Northrend. We can just fly already as we are here and carry on through the journey. Now we want to head up to the north on this one. We could probably pick up some herbs and ore along the way, so we'll keep an eye on the map as we head on north. Where do we need to go? Slightly to the right, I believe. So let's go over this direction. Wintergrasp is over here. So let's head on over this way. Make sure we've got our herbs tracking, find herbs and minerals is turned on. Now we could probably do with some Darkmoon Firewater. I think that would help us do our herbalism and mining faster. But we don't have any on us at the moment, and we're far from an auction house, so we'll have to ignore that one and carry on without it. Okay, so here we are in Wintergrass. I forgot this was an actual PvP zone, so this is going to be interesting. I wonder if we can just go around and do our herbalism within relative safety, perhaps. We'll go around and try this route. It's going to be interesting. So what we'll do is we'll carry on. I'm just looking at my bags at the moment. It says 35,000. If we look at Bag Appraiser, if we turn that on, if we turn on Bag Appraiser here, it's telling me I have 67 gold worth at the moment with what I've picked up. So not really much at all at this point. The fireleaf, the gold clover, and the raw bristle whisker catfish we just caught. So we'll have a look and see whether our gold goes, how much our gold goes up over the course of this session. So we're at 2:23. We'll go for an hour and we'll see how things go from there. Now we've picked up the route, we can choose any direction to go around the route on the top right there. You see it in our map here. We'll just follow the green line, looking out for nodes as we go. Now I've just noticed I haven't picked up my professions for Northrend mining and herbalism, so we're not getting the skill ups for these at the moment. That would have been useful to have picked up beforehand. If we look at my professions here, we have the Legion mining, but I don't believe we've picked up the Northrend mining and herbalism. So I think it might be better to abort this for the moment. We'll come back here, we've almost done a whole route, and we'll go and pick up the professions first and foremost. Actually, we can probably pick them up in Old Dalaran, which is around here, over there. So let's go head over that way whilst we're here. We'll take a slight detour away, and then we'll come back to this fresh. Currently at 1,805 gold from Bag Appraiser. Let's head on over to Dalaran and get ourselves the extra herb and mining trainers here. So if this has the same layout, I would expect the herbalism trainer to be in here.
Good day to you.
Let's do Northrend herbalism and we'll train in that.
See you later.
And mining will be inside here. Now I was up here in regular Dalaran, in Legion Dalaran. Doesn't look like it's here. Blacksmithing trainer. Where is the mining trainer? If you're not here, where would I expect you to be? Let's try over by the engineering section. That's, oh there we go, mining trainer, you're inside here. Mining supplies, mining trainer. North End mining. We'll take that, and we can also do the cobalt bars and the skill up things there, get the recipes for those, so that's also going to be useful. You could always turn things into bars rather than sell the raw, or there's always options there of turning materials into something else. So with that little interlude done, we'll head on back outside, and then this time when we go through and do our herbalism and mining, we'll at least be able to pick those up. We're just here on Wintergrasp anyway, so we'll pick up the trail momentarily. That was a slight detour, maybe 5 minutes out of our journey, but well worth doing. We're getting XP as well as getting skill ups as well, which is fantastic. Off we go, Samadan, back to your mining route. Let's try that Saronite again. We couldn't pick it up last time. No, still can't pick it up. That's a strange one. Okay, back on our route now. There we go, so now we're getting the herbalism skill. Yeah, there we go, level 41. So getting the XP as well as mining, which all helps with our journey, obviously. So far we are up to 10,000 gold in Bag Appraiser. We're about 20 minutes in, including our diversion to Dalaran. That forest emerald we just picked up, interesting, says 66 gold according to that one. I don't have a TSM price for it, that could be interesting. Let's carry on though. There's another one, Monarch Topaz, min buyout 282. According to that, that could be quite nice. Now we've also just used up our rested XP, so we're not going to get quite as much XP going on forward from this. But still, we pretty much went through a whole level so far, which is really, really good, just on herbalism and mining. Let the battle commence. Oh, this is the battle for Wintergrasp. I don't want to do this. Hold on. Let me head on out. One of the hazards of farming. Unfortunately now we're in a no-fly zone because of the PvP event starting. We're going to have to cut it short at 318 a little bit there. We are currently on Bag Appraiser telling me 32,000 in gold. So we have titanium ore 28, apparently about 17,000. This is based off TSM market value. We have Saronite ore 239, 1,600, some crystallized shadow, fire and water, all worth a fair amount there. If we have a look in our actual bags themselves, obviously we had a bit of combat, so we picked up a few things there. We had a whole load of gems here, which might potentially sell. We can turn some of these into eternal shadows, things that we've got 10 for at least. So the crystallized earth is worth currently 70 silver. If we turn that into eternal earth, that's worth 18 gold. So these are worth just literally converting as they are into the eternals rather than crystallized versions. Same with the fire and the life. That's actually making my Bag Appraiser go down in value on those, but we'll go with the converted ones for now. I think those will be more likely to sell over the others because they have ultimately more use. There we go, that's crystallized air, we'll do that one as well. Okay, so now we have 30,000, which is probably a little bit more realistic on there. So there's the crystallized versions. Then we have the actual eternal water, eternal air, eternal shadows 15 gold, eternal life is 42, fire is 65, and the titanium ore has a very good value at the moment, min buyout of 484, market value of 636. Whether that will sell for that value, I'm not sure. Currently 13,000 or 17,000 just looking at that on its own, which is why the amount is so high here. It's whether we can sell that titanium ore. Could we turn that titanium ore into titanium bars? That's another option. If we look at our profession here, we have we don't have our skill level here. We can see it further up. We got our herbalism up to 21 and our mining up to 65. So that was pretty good going as well. So we didn't even maximize out everything there. So there's another option there. So all in all, that was pretty good. Let me find a way out of here that we can actually fly in. Probably jumping off there is probably a bad idea. Let's go and pick up this last one here. We might as well Hearthstone back to Dalaran. That'll be the easiest one. That's Legion Dalaran, not Northrend Dalaran. And I think it'd be quite nice to head back to Stormwind. So let's go from here back to Stormwind. And then what I'll do is I'm going to send the spare gold I have back to Stabadan, so he can have that. And we'll put all these auctions on the auction house as Samadan, and we'll see what kind of money we can make just from selling those through. So that's a theoretical price we have here, 30,000. Obviously that's half of what it was recommended on the add-on, saying I could possibly get 61,000. Obviously that's bearing in mind I wasn't maxed in my professions, and I also took that detour to Dalaran as well to pick up the relative skills in the professions. So let's have a look. Let's go to a mailbox. Let's deal with everything else we have here. So if we go to other, we have excess gold. So how much gold do I want to keep on? Let's keep it a nice round 1,000 gold for the moment. 1,000 gold at the moment, and we'll send the rest to Stabadan. So that goes back on over. So now I have around 1,000 gold amount. Probably sell all the junk and the things we picked up. In fact, I might set my Hearthstone to here, in fact.
Well met.
Because this could be my home, a nice central area to go from here. And then I'll sell all my junk. That gives me another 2 gold. And then we can go and put some of this on the auction house. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on manually for the moment, just so we can see the price of everything. There's nothing else I want to deal with at this point. I'll just look at those one by one. We've got the herbs and herb parts here sent to Stabadan. So what we can do here is just manually post these on using shift click on the browse. So those are my relics, I can ignore those. Then start with the Eternal Air. We could in theory flip a few of these, but 85%. We'll go with the market value at the moment. We'll try 24 hours with these as well. See if that gives me any bonuses. A 50 gold here. See, it's tempting to buy some of these up, Eternal Fires, and sell them back on, for the region sale is 102 there. The flipper in me always wants to put things on for higher. But for the moment, for the purposes of science, let's go with what we have at the moment. It's close enough. These are on for 42, that's about market price. Shadows are on for 10 gold again. It'd be interesting to go from 10 to 15 here. Market value is 15. In fact, what I will do is I'm going to go in here and miss that one entirely. You may not get the sales, but it's a better price slightly. And these are right down here at 1 gold for the crystallized there. Crystallized fire, quite expensive there at 24. And the life is certainly very cheap there at 67 silver. As these are the crystallized ones, you'd probably want to look at these and versus the price of the combined ones, and you could probably, like we did with the Spirits of Harmony, we could probably turn something into a profit here, potentially. But as a farmer, we're just going to put these on at their current prices. Put the herbs on, 5 gold. That's quite cheap for Icethorn. We have sold it for 1 gold 54, so that's even cheaper than that. Lich Bloom's a nice price, 24 gold. I'll go in there. The rose is cheap, but then the market value is quite high, so we'll just post in as we are. Now over time I could set up a group just to post all these on at market value. That could be an option, especially if I'm not too concerned with flipping any of these markets and I'm just going to go on for whatever price I've got them on for. Lots of little gems here, which could be interesting. Don't know how much in demand these are. It's all down to sale rate over anything else. Now the Saronite ore, I wonder whether that's better turned into Saronite bars. We've got a region sale rate of 0.28. Looking at that at the moment. If we look at Saronite bars, they are 44 gold. So in terms of those, I imagine if I look at my smelting, it's probably one ore turns into one bar. Let's have a look. Under my mining skills, let's drop this over here so we can have a look. So we don't have smelt Saronite yet anyway. So this is going to be under Northrend smelt Saronite. We'd have to pick that up with our Northrend mining. We've now got the skill up for this. So Saronite ore, you take 2 of those and you turn them into 1 Saronite bar. So the price of the Saronite bar is 44 gold, but the ore itself is going for 37 gold. So it's actually better for me to sell those. The only reason I'd try that as the bar would be if the sale rate was better, but the sale rate isn't better either. So we'll stick with the ore on those. Worth checking though. There's the titanium, we haven't done that yet. Let's pop those on. So these are the good prices here, 484, 636 is the market value. Seems artificially high, so I'll stick with the 484. And if we get a sale for that, then great. There we go, that's everything on from our list. So now we've got 25,000 in posted auctions. So it's not 30,000, it's not taking into account the auction house fees, but for an hour's worth of running around in one zone, if we sold all of those for 25,000, I would say that was a good use of the hour. We also gained a whole level in experience, which was fantastic. So that's certainly something worth investigating. Of course, I wouldn't want to completely flood the market by doing the same thing again and again and again. I'd probably go to a different zone and find some different ore and herbs that way. But overall, pretty fantastic for Samadan. So we'll leave you here for the moment and go and have a look at Shadowdan and see how he's getting on. Goodbye for now, Samadan. Hello, Shadowdan. How are you? Now, last time we left you, you had just gotten started into the Shadowlands leatherworking market by making I-level 87 gear and posting that on the auction house. We were doing this all manually at the moment, so let's go have a look at whether any of that has sold. Obviously, I've been restocking as and when I've had any sales, so let's go have a look. So that's pretty good going, I would say. We're left with just a few left on our list. We have Desolate Leather Helm, the Vest, the Scales, the Twilight Bark has sold, the Callous Hide has sold, the Heavy Callous Hide has sold, Eternal Crystals have sold, and then some more Desolate Scale and Leather there. So that's giving us 16,000 gold, and we have a few left we haven't managed to sell yet. So that, I would say, would be a pretty good success in terms of getting started with this profession. Only a very narrow amount of things we've sold at the moment. Let's go pick these up. There we go. So we've got a few more we'll need to restock on here. So we'll make use of our Desolate Leather and our Pallid Bone we already have on us here. So we're in a good position now, 17,000 gold on Shadowdan. So we have a total gold of 49,000. Obviously a lot of that is invested in the auction house at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that in the future. Let's have a look at our leather working at the moment. So we were working on just the Desolate Scale and the Desolate Leather gear here with our Novice Crafter's marks. We currently have none on us, so we'll probably have to make a few of those. We're running a bit low on some salt thread, a little bit on the leather as well for that point, so probably could do with heading back to Oribos and buying a little bit of these. Whilst we're here by the auction house, let's go see if we can find some desolate leather on the auction house. So we don't have any groups set up here. We have a fresh new profile for Shadowdan here. We did have a group I'd set up for selling the eye level 87 gear. I'm using TSM 4.11 alpha at the moment, so it's still in development. So I was able to list these on by the actual item level. Normally you'll have just one option here, and that's ignore item variations. This is new to 4.11. So what I'll do here is we'll need to do a shopping operation for the desolate leather and the pallid bone. So let's make up a new group here, call this leather, and then inside there we can have a shopping group, and inside there we're going to put in the pallid bone and the desolate leather, which is what we're looking for at the moment. And an operation for that in terms of shopping, we'll just go in, we can use the default one for this, which is just DB market. There we go, it's got the default one in there. And then for auctioning, what we can do is put in eye level 87 specific gear, and in this we'll put the items. We'll have this buy specific item, which is the same as if in the current version of TSM if you had ignore item variations turned off. This is the same, so it's making use of each of the individual variations. What you would do in the future in the next version is use item level instead, in which case what we would do here is we'd add all of these in, so it keeps account of the item level but ignores the random stats. So as we're using the alpha here, we'll put this in for the moment. We'll put those in there, and then we'll go for an operation here, auctioning operation. We'll put a new one in here, the manual one won't use. Let's create a new operation, and we'll call this crafting plus, that would say about 1,500 gold as our basis there. So if we look at this under our posting operation, duration, if we make that 12 hours post cap, probably only want a couple of these on because the deposit fees are quite expensive. And then down here we will use crafting plus 1,000 gold as actually probably want to go a little bit lower than this because I have noticed some of them have been going for a little bit less, so I'll go with 300 minimum, which is probably where we've got this manual 300 minimum. Actually no, that one's not even using crafting. That's not one we want to use. Let's get rid of that one. Let's use this one, crafting plus 1,000. So this is taking the crafting cost plus 300 gold. The maximum will take crafting plus 3,000 gold. And the normal will be crafting 1,500 gold. That way these items here, when we look at them in the group, and look at the tooltip there, look at the operations crafting, then we should have a crafting. We haven't got that in the tooltip, so let's go just adjust our tooltips. Under tooltip settings, let's turn on auctioning, and let's have a look at detailed destroy information, full inventory. All of these turned on, posting min, normal, max price is all on, so that should be fine. If we do a /reload just to make sure that's in the tooltip, and then if we look at our bags now, we have a min, normal and max price 300, 1,500 and 3,000 for each of these items. Now we want to make some more of these. We can't actually make them at the moment using TSM. You can't do this in 4.11 yet, but you will be able to in the future. You can't even do it. You can't do it in 4.10 at the moment either. So we'll do it as if you had 4.10, which is what we currently have for most people on TSM. So what I would do in this situation is look at which ones I have, and then I would go and make those in a list. So in order to craft all of these, we'll have to make ourselves some novice crafter's marks, but we're going to need some desolate leather, some penumbra thread and curing salt as well. So let's go buy a few more of those. So using our shopping scan for the desolate leather, let's see what price desolate leather is at the moment. 2 gold 32, smart average buy price 255, and pallid bone 248. So let's get ourselves maybe 400 of those and 200 of those. Then we'll need to head over back to Oribos and collect up the vendor materials that we'll need for this. I've just realised I could have picked that up from Stormwind, so it doesn't matter where we get this from, we don't have reputation with any of them. I want to go back to Stormwind now, but whilst we're here, what we'll do is we'll buy them from the place we know we can get them from. Here we are. So we'll pick up some more Twilight Bark, might be able to make a nice profit on that, and Curing Salt. We don't want too much of this, so we're just going to get 50 for now, as it's quite expensive right at the moment. And for Number Thread we'll take another 50 of that, so we have some in stock. So now looking at this, we can make Crafter's Marks. Going to pick the Desolate Leather from the mailbox, head on up. Oh, there's one down the other end now, just remembered. Where's the new mailbox? Here it is. So we'll use this one and we'll pick up our extra purchases. There we go. And so now we can make some more Novice Crafter's Marks. Let's make maybe 30 of those for now. Okay, so now we'll go through each of these and add in some extra ones that we don't have. If you look at things like the leggings, we can see we've already got one in my inventory, so I'll use that. What I'm going to do is make 2 of each of these now. So we don't have any of those at the moment, so let's go Novice Crafter's Mark on those. Leggings we have 1 of, so we'll just make 1 more. Okay, so that's all of those made. We should have 2 each of everything. Looking at my icons there, it looks like we have 2 each of all the icons. So what we'll then do is go into our TSM. So 2 different options here. The eye level specific gear. Let's imagine we had none of these on. Remove those. So if you were to use TSM 4.9, you'd have specific item, which is essentially having ignore item variations turned off, and then you'd have to put every single one of these in, and those will be put into the group according to their specific variation, and will be priced matching those specific variations. Because I have 4.11 in, I can group this by item level instead, and this allows me to ignore the random variations but still make sure that I'm matching any other item level 87 gear. So I'm going to use this one for now as I have it available to me. I'm going to add all of those in, and then the operation for that is the crafting plus 1500. So we need to find ourselves an auction house. We could probably just pop out here and go back to Stormwind, would be the easy way, but we want to do a bit of work in Shadowlands anyway, so let's go see if we can find one somewhere around here, hopefully. See if we can find a friendly Brutosaur. I don't see any at the moment. Obviously, oh, there's one. Let's borrow this one. Borrow this, and auctioning, run a post scan. So these are all going for 788. Some going for slightly less there. And so we'll go through posting 1 of 12. That doesn't seem enough, but let's go through. Well, I haven't got my scroll wheel macro enabled actually. I have to work on that one as well. I feel like I'm missing a couple there. What was I missing? Yeah, we're missing quite a few there. So it could be an issue with 4.11 in its current state. Let me just turn on my macros. Scroll wheel up and down with control on. Update existing macro. There we go. And then I'll do a / reload because that could have affected our groups. Thankfully we still have the long boy here, so let's try this again. Run a post scan. There we go. Some extra ones going on. Oh, quick, come back, come back. Chasing after the Brutosaur. They've gone. Okay. The perils of not having your own Brutosaur. So we could see if we can find another one. Don't see any around at the moment. How many did I was 3 short from posting them on. So we might as well head on back to... I don't really want to go to Shadowlands, back to Stormwind just yet, so we'll leave those for the moment. What I will do though, the next thing we want to do is have a look at our leatherworking, because we are now at level 60. So there's maybe some extra things we can do to increase our level. Everything here has gone grey at the moment, so we'll have to pick up some more things to learn. Let's go have a look, see if there's something else we can do with leatherworking. Okay, so here we've got the Shadebound gear. Now this is item level 151 by default, until you can put the Crafter's Mark II on them to make them item level 168, which is by far the more attractive option, certainly at this point in the expansion. So I'm going to buy up these anyway, because this will give us skill ups, like so. So with all of those, if we then look at our leather working, there's a few things here we can make. Again, going between TSM and looking at the crafting cost, if we filter this by have skill ups, we can see which ones we could possibly do here in terms of potential profit. We have Shadebound arm guards, could be a nice profit there if we can sell them for that much. That would be very nice. 200 cost on that, and the shadow scale not nearly as much. Sale rate is quite good on those. So if I was to look at this, Shadebound arm guards would be my preferred option. Shadebound arm guards here. We don't have any callous hide though, which is currently at 55 gold, so we'd have to potentially buy up a few of those. We've only got 6 per number of thread left, so we'd have to spend a little bit of our gold that we've earned so far to invest back into this. So again, we'd need a Brutosaur and some callous hide for that. We can get us a little bit more per number of thread whilst we're here though, so let's take up 50 of that for now, just so we've got a little bit more. Then everything else seems okay. So we could go out and go and skin for our own callous hide, which is always an option, and it will get us some skill ups as well. We are currently, where are we at? Currently level 52 at the moment, item level 87. No real reputation to speak of at the moment. Going through the quest line at the moment, we are on the edge of Revelation in Bastion. So we have this one as part of the quest line here, so we could go over there and start on that side of things, get ourselves a little bit more experience. Let's see if we can find a Brutosaur whilst we're here. See if another one's popped up in the meantime. No luck on the Brutosaur front. So we have a couple of choices here. We can head on back to Stormwind, and we can go and buy the materials we need and sell our auctions, and then level up our leather working a little bit, and then come back to here and maybe do a little bit more on our quest line. Or we can do some quest line things first and then come back here and see if we gain anything on that front. So as I'm already here, we've got a little bit of a cooldown left on our Hearthstone anyway. So let's go follow the storyline. We can still do with picking up Master Riding. Now we have 14,000 gold, we can afford that now. So let's go from here and head back over here to Aspirant's Rest. As we have some rested XP here at the moment, we might as well make good use of it. Hopefully we'll be okay in war mode still. Not too many deaths so far. So on the edge of Revelation, here we go. Let's go and join in on our quest line. Of course we can skin and get some extra materials along the way, hopefully. Not sure there are much in the way of beasts over in that area. Let's go have a look though. Come on, Shadowdan. Time for your next journey. Okay, I think we helped those out, roughly. Let's go hand that back in. Okay, so that's another chapter done of that. Purity's Prerogative. Let's go turn this one back in, and then we can see what else we've done. We've got half a level there already, 52. In terms of gold, still at 14,000. Still have our BOEs we haven't put on yet. Oh, we did get some extra gear doing that. Let's have a look. That's an upgrade. I'll grab that. Okay, to Hero's Rest. Let's go and have a look. Let's see if we can get out of this area. Head up to the north. This is a good skinning spot. We were here. We got killed a few times before. Over to the right, but we'll skip that for now. A couple of sky golems running around. Okay, so we have a little bit extras to do here. Now I don't necessarily want to carry on with the campaign just yet. I would really like to get myself to an auction house. So let's go to head back to the Ring of Fates, and then we could go to Dalaran and actually make use of that, and then head to Stormwind. That's also an option. Let's do that. I mean, we really could do with that extra flying now. It seems so sluggish now that we're used to flying on Samadan. This is so much slower. Thankfully we have the gold for that. Let's go pick that up whilst we're here in Stormwind. And then we can look at our missing things to skill up our leatherworking for another part. Let's go over here first. Okay, here we go. So master riding, 4,700. Money well invested. Let's go and pick that one up. Now we can fly much faster. So that's going to make our life easier. So then we also need to go to the auction house and pick up some, I believe it was callous hide we didn't have for our shade-bound arm guards. So let's see if we can find some for a reasonable price. So callous hide is currently here at 55 gold. So there's a fair amount of it here. The market average is 61. So we'll take some of this. Now we've got 9,900 gold. Don't want to spend too much of this. So 10, 100 would be too much, I think. Let's get 20. The main thing is making sure that we have enough capital here, as well as being able to work on our professions. So we'll take up this, and then what we'll do is we'll wait for some more sales coming through from the item level 87 gear, and then feed that back into leveling up the leatherworking. So what we can do at least here is make some arm guards. They had a reasonable profit margin on them. Crafting cost of 207, 1,700. There's not really, I mean, we could go the way of putting novice crafters marks on these and having them at item level 50. Whether we can sell them for the same kind of level, I'm not quite so sure. I think we're better off without that. We're better off just putting them on for the base 151. Once we get up to level 60, then we can start doing things in the Maw and getting our Venari rep, which is what we need for the Crafters Mark II. Unfortunately, Crafters Mark II for leatherworkers is really expensive because it takes one heavy callous hide. So we'd have to factor that in, or pick up another profession like tailoring, which makes Crafters Mark II much more cheaply. That's an option in the future, certainly. For now, though, in terms of levelling up, obviously we'd get bigger skill ups with this at the moment, but in terms of profit margin, the actual arm guards seem better in terms of profit margin. So we're going to make one of those whilst it's currently yellow to us. In fact, we'll make two of them, and then it's probably worth jumping onto one of these, whichever's the cheapest and what's still in a profit. So the treads are not in a profit. A small profit on the waist guard, a better profit, looking at those, on the treads for the shadow scale, 0.11 sale rate, better sale rate on the waist guard. So I'll go for the larger profit on these ones. Slightly cheaper to make the waist guard, 130 versus 200, and that's 145. So to minimise this, let's go waist guard. I think that's still, waist guard is still a +2 skill up, so that's fine. Let's make one of those, and that takes us to 64. There we go. Now we're onto the waist guard still. Just either of those two are still orange to us. We could probably start learning some more in terms of leatherworking where we're at the moment. Don't want to flood the market with too many of these, so it would make sense to go into something else. This was a small profit on those, so let's create a couple of those as well, and that will take us to skill level 70. Now we'd have to go back to our trainer and learn some new things in order to level that up further. But we do have some items that we have at least created that we can now list on the auction house. So what we'll do with these is we'll go into our groups here. So we have the eye level 87. Now this was specific gear, but it wasn't necessarily specific gear. We were going by item level. I'm just going to rename this eye level 87. We'll call this Desolate. That will make more sense. And then the shade bound would have its own group. And what this is going to be is per specific item. So if any of these happen to have particularly attractive stats, then we'll match those. So I'll add all of those in. And then in terms of operations, we will go with, I think, an auctioning operation similar to the one that we've got at the moment. Could serve our purposes for the moment. I'm not sure whether those are within our profit margins, though. Probably not. Let's have a look. Probably worth a slash reload just before we jump in here, just to make sure. Okay, let's have a look. So if we go through here and to auctioning and run a post scan, so we've got normal price, we've got not got any competition for these specific shade bound items. That doesn't mean we haven't got any competition, that just means that these specific ones at this specific item level are not currently being listed on the auction house. So we're going to set our price at plus 1500 gold and see if we can get ourselves some sales that way. You never know. And then these are undercutting competition on those two, so we'll post all of those. There we go, with those posted, 8,800 gold, 28,000 in posted auctions. So we now have three characters doing three very different things, and they're all posting their own auctions at the moment. We have Shadowdan here, who is working through his leatherworking, getting that skilled up, as well as looking at skinning and doing that along our journey whilst we're leveling all the way through under Shadowlands. We then have Samadan, who is doing our jewel gathering, and he's enjoying his journey and seeing if he can sell some things. And then we have Stabadan, who's doing the material flipping. So three very different ways of making gold: professions, gathering and flipping, but three very different journeys. So I think I'll leave you there for the moment, Shadowdan. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again very soon. Until next time, happy gold making.